Welcome to Jurukan. Cut over
Will I
and
get to experience that too?
you may get to experience that.
Okay.
Let me present you with Mario Robles.
Hi there. Hi. How you doing, Ruben?
Really good. How you doing?
I'm doing well.
Okay, so
Very stressed out, but
really?
yes.
Tell me about this production that you're doing.
All right. Well, we're doing Divorciada, Evangelica y Vegetariana. It is a comedy by Gustavo Ortiz. Basically,
Okay.
That's what. The
And tell me about you're doing this as part of Latte.
All right.
You know what? We might have to get closer than we usually like to get because I'm
Ruben.
not sure we could hear you.
Last time we got this close, well, we won't get into that. Okay. So what's up,
So
Ruben?
tell me, tell me about your work as a director, and particularly you're involved with Latte.
Yes, Latin
Tell me-
American Theater Ensemble. Yes, it's a theater company founded nearly 40 years ago by my grandparents,
Okay.
Mario Peña and Margarita Toirac, when they came here from Cuba.
Okay.
And it's been going for 40 years now. We're a non-for-profit. We've had locations all over Manhattan, including Midtown, Lower East Side, and as of the last 20 years, we've become El Portón del Barrio. We've become the primary theater group in all of Spanish Harlem. And this production is going to be taking place right there in our home base of 106th and Lexington in Spanish Harlem.
Okay, so how many years have you been?
Late's been around nearly 40 years.
Nearly
Since
40?
They got started in about 1970.
1970, wow, yeah.
Yeah, my grandfather was a super on the Upper West Side by day, and by night he was directing shows.
Wow.
Yeah.
It seems like you're definitely the kind of person to carry on the torch,
Thank you.
right?
Ruben.
Why did you continue with this tradition?
But no, for me, it just came very naturally. I basically, when I wasn't at school as a child, I was backstage behind the scenes on a set
Yeah,
of a
just
show.
like I grew up.
Yeah, you know all about
In
that.
fact, we grew up in a very similar manner, even though it was kind of a generation apart.
Just
but
a small generational gap.
Uh-huh.
You know, you're a young man.
yeah.
But I grew up basically behind the scenes. You know, my friends growing up were directors and playwrights and actors, and I was always just there for the rehearsal process. And I did a lot of growing up basically around it, and it's what I wanted to do. I would act out my own shows at home by myself. I had no siblings, so I would just kind of crawl around the floor and pretend to be a paralyzed soldier, and Grandma just knew he's acting. Play along with him. But
You know, I know that a lot in your family are involved
Oh,
in the
you.
industry. Who in your family has influenced you most that really inspired you to continue with this? Because there's always
Well-
somebody that really kind of.
well, my grandfather, Mario Peña, in many ways, he inspired me because he was a Renaissance man. You know, when it came to a production, he would write it, direct it, he'd design the sets, he'd build the sets himself, design the costumes, and, you know, take part in constructing the costumes. You know, from start to finish, he was a Renaissance man. In many ways, I feel like that was passed down to me. Yeah. But, and then obviously another big inspiration is my aunt, you know, Elizabeth Peña. She's been acting in film and television now for close to 30 years. And, you know, she went out to LA and now she's just constantly working. She just wrapped a film in Chicago with John Leguizamo and Alfredo Molina. And she's obviously a big inspiration of mine. I'm trying to get her to fly into New York to see this show. So if anyone comes to see it, you know, you might be sitting next to her and that'll be nice.
You might get a chance to sit next to Elizabeth Peña.
Yeah.
She was hot. I mean, she played with me. I mean, when I was a
What?
little boy at the theater, she would, you know, entertain me to keep me from going crazy because I was a really hyperactive kid in the theater. Grew up in the
You?
theater. Oh my
You're
goodness.
so shy.
And there was two of us. It was my brother and I, and actually I was the shy one. But we were just all over the place. And she was a real sweetheart with us.
Yeah.
What do you think of the role between an actor and director as far as that collaborative thing. And for lack of a better word, the difficult actor, you know, that people come
You.
across, like myself, get out of here. And the difficult director.
You know, I never give what you call like a line reading. I never tell you exactly how I want you to say a line. I'm not a puppeteer. I'm not expecting you to just repeat everything I do. What I do is I let you know very clearly what it is I want from you. And I'll use adjectives. I'll be like, I need a little more urgency here, or, you know, this is more important to you, or can you really just try to emphasize this, or make, you know, feel more helpless. You're more at wit's end at this point in the piece. You know, I'll use terms like that, and just try to get it out of them that way. I try not to be too manipulative, and, you know, really coax out of them what I want. I think that's important, because I've dealt with directors before who they basically want me to be a parrot to them, and just no, say it exactly like this, and if I don't say it exactly like that, then I get yelled at, and, you know, I'm not doing my job, and I don't think that's a very conducive way to prepare a show, because then they don't even know why they're doing it. They don't know why they're saying the line that way. But anyway,
Why this play? The divorcee, the
religious nut and the vegetarian.
and the vegetarian.
Well, our last one I directed was Coser y Cantar. And it was a very psychological, very thought-provoking piece. It was very intense. And, you know, at Lata we were discussing we want to do something that's just now like lighthearted.
And this is the play. It's called Divorciada, Evangelica y
Vegetariana.
Well, that's a mouthful.
Yeah.
Sure.
And it's playing, tell me when.
All right, we open this Friday night.
This Friday night, that's
Yes,
great. Okay.
This weekend at 8, 8, and 4, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Okay.
On 106th and Lexington on the second.
So at 8 o'clock on Friday and Saturday,
And 4
and
o'clock on Sunday.
4 o'clock on Sunday at Julio de Burgos Cultural Center.
Yes.
Right?
They can go to either lateny.org or myspace.com/lattenyc. And latte is just spelled like L-A-T-E, Latte NYC.
Or late.
Yes. myspace.com/late
Make it
NYC.
easy for our English speaking
And you'll be
audience.
able to friend any of the four of us. We're all on the top friends.
Yes.
Excellent. To get tickets, they could just go right to the center.
Yes.
Or they can call.
Or
is
they
it better-
can call for reservations at 212-397-3262.
Okay. Iliana,
See.
tell me a little bit about yourself.
Okay. Well, I moved to New York about 9 months ago from Costa Rica.
Really?
Yeah, I grew up in Costa Rica. I'm originally from Miami. My family's Cuban. You know, Miami Cubans. But I grew up in Costa Rica. I moved there when I was 11 until 8 months ago.
Your English is amazing for being away so long.
Why, thank
You
you.
must have you traveled back and forth a lot?
I have traveled back and forth. My dad lives in Miami, so I, would visit him often. And also, I don't know, TV, movies, reading, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I sort of, it stuck with me.
Okay. So tell me when you started acting, or when this bug caught you.
Well, I started acting, I guess, officially in the, drama club in high school. And then in college, I got my bachelor's in dramatic arts in the University of Costa Rica, and that's, when it really sunk in that this was what I wanted to do forever.
Wow. And how long have you been acting since you graduated from?
I was lucky enough to start working before I graduated, and really never stopped.
Mm-hmm.
And I had great teachers, and I had a chance to work with great directors in Costa Rica that I learned a lot from. And then it got to a point where I figured it was time to maybe come try my luck somewhere bigger.
And you say you've been here 9 months?
Yeah, about 9 months.
Wow. How did you find out about this?
There was a post on Craigslist, and it was for the same day. I saw it probably like 3 hours before the audition. And so I basically ran home from work and picked up my headshot and went over, and I don't know, it was fun. I had heard about the play before because it played in Costa Rica, but I had never seen it. And so we, did a couple scenes there with different people, and it was just, it's a really funny script. So, it was fun. I knew at that point that it was just going to be fun.
Have you been involved in any other productions since you've moved here?
Oh, this is my first full-length play here in New York.
And what part do you play?
I play Meche. I am La Evangelica, the evangelical.
Okay.
Very interesting for me. It's a lot of fun. I feel she's very different from me. I'm not really a religious person. I consider myself as being spiritual, but not really religious. So it's been fun to sort of find, and she also has contradictions about herself.
As we all do.
As we all do, of course. And with her religion, her religion, and then how she views sexuality. It's interesting.
Let's not give it away.
That's it. She preaches one thing, but then you know that she isn't convinced herself, which is a good thing. I mean, because she's constantly questioning herself, I feel, about her beliefs and what she really wants and what how she views other people and their actions. So I like that about her, because she's not just, someone that you can say, oh, this is Meche, and she's just an evangelical. No, she questions herself, and she questions her actions and her desires, and that's made it, I think, more fun for me and richer to be able to find those things.
What kind of role would be the role for you?
Oh gosh, that question.
Doesn't have to be a specific person, but something that a kind of character that you would really like to play, or somebody that you would really like to play.
Actually, this has been a very interesting experience for me, because I've never really been cast in comedy things. I've always been like a very dramatic roles, like very extremely dramatic roles. So this has been very refreshing. Actually, this has been sort of an experience that I've wanted for a while, the comedy thing.
She's saying I made her dreams come true.
Well, not that's not what I'm saying. But yes.
I was mugging for the camera,
Yes,
but
yes.
didn't get it. Honey, come on, you got to catch me.
But so this has been, I've been wanting to do a comedy for a while. So this has been sort of one of those roles. I mean, I could talk about, the Tennessee Williams girls that I would love to play, but this has been an interesting change for me, an interesting shift.
And she nailed La Evangelica right from the audition.
Who would have thought?
Right from the first one. Me and the other people I had with me there to consult with, we all just knew, like, okay, we have Meche. Now, what else do we need? So,
Ileana, what kind of person are you?
I enjoy long walks on the beach. No.
Do you?
Actually, I do. I do.
I see you walking
It's
down the beach.
It's nice walking down the beach. I don't know. I like to consider myself as being authentic, because I have no tolerance for people that aren't authentic.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I just try to be myself and be honest, and I try to be a good person. Yeah.
What turned you on in life?
Authenticity.
Ladies?
We won't get into that here. Authenticity.
However, the next half of the show may...
Stay tuned.
May take a different direction.
Yeah, authenticity, family, laughter. Yeah.
Melissa? Melissa.
You can say
tell me a little
Melissa.
bit about you. It sounds better when I say Melissa.
Melissa.
it's more exotic.
Yeah, I like that.
Telenovela like.
Don't knock it off. Okay. Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, let's see. I was born and raised in Elizabeth, New Jersey. Born to Cuban parents. And as I'm actually the first generation here, the first one born, so I'm very proud of that fact. I went to Rutgers University, graduated, and then moved to Miami for 3 years. And I've been back in the tri-state area for 3 years now, living in New York City.
And acting, where did this come about?
Well, I feel like it's something that's always been in me, and same thing in high school. I was in the drama clubs and did the school productions. But then when I went on to college, I I had this idea that I had to take a more conventional, approach to life, the family, and that whole pressure to the first generation here. So I was really like the first one to go to college. So I did that, and I got my degree. I worked in corporate actually for about a year, and everything was pretty much set until I decided that there was no way I was going to do that for the rest of my life. And that's when I picked up and moved to Miami and lived there for a while, and slowly started to just gravitate back towards the arts. And when I decided that I really was going to go full force, which was a big revelation, big decision to actually, tell my family, okay, I'm not going to get another corporate job, I decided to move back to New York to train, to, wholeheartedly just go full force. And
when was that?
This was 3 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and then since I've been here, it's been great. I started taking some classes over there, but it wasn't until I was in New York that I really, sunk my teeth into it.
Wow. And the training, is it more for film, TV, theater?
Well,
I'm saying because you seem like a new face to me, so I'm wondering what your history is.
My history is, yeah.
All of you, actually.
My goals are really to be, film and television is definitely a goal, but being in New York, and I think really just wanting to be a good actor. Theater is just such a great place, because I think it takes not only talent, but it takes such discipline to be able to produce that on a daily basis, or one performance after another. Because I've done some TV, film things, and although that's difficult in its own way, it's cut and take, and it's a different experience altogether. So being a good theater actor and being a good film actor are not necessarily, they don't go hand in hand, really. And my goal is to be good at both. So,
how do you feel about in the industry? Sex in the industry, the whole how you look, doesn't matter necessarily what talent you have.
It can be disenchanting. So, and I've gotten to that point at sometimes. So I chose not to do that anymore, because there are some roles. But I had an excellent teacher that I trained with, steadily for 2 years, who told me there are roles that you're going to get just because of the way you look, and that doesn't mean that you're a good actor. So and
Ouch.
I'm like, yeah, but it was good, because it's true. You some people, they go out there and they start booking things and they think, wow, I'm good. That doesn't mean you're good. That means that you happen to look, like this part, or what they're looking for, or quote unquote sexy, or attractive. But it's also you start getting cast and start getting put in a box for certain roles that are not necessarily, I don't just want to book roles because to book them. I want good roles. I want roles because of my talent. So it's it could be sad, but I think that if you focus on the positive and don't let yourself go there, and especially LA, because I went to LA for a while. Trying to figure out if I was going to live there, and that if you want to get yourself down, that's the place to do it.
What role would be out of your comfort zone, but a real challenge to you, and that you would try, that you'd like to give a try?
Let me see. I guess a real, probably like a villain, some kind of, really bad person, yeah.
And what's your role in this one?
Yeah, not a villain. La vegetariana, I'm the vegetarian.
Okay.
Gloria.
So, yeah, something that would have to push me to the limits of being, because I want to say that so far the things that I've done have been, I get cast in either lighter roles, or funny, or good girl, or, nice girl roles. I don't really get,
opposites.
Yeah, exactly.
To me.
Yeah, I don't really get cast for these, murderers or seductresses and things like that. So.
How do people misinterpret you?
How do people misinterpret?
As far as their impression of you, and as far as thinking of you for a certain role, but you're capable of something else. Have you ever come across that?
I do. I've been coming across it a lot lately, in the sense of being a Latina actress and wanting to be just considered for roles in general, because I don't want to be cast as, I think it's a great thing, because it's really gotten my foot in the door with managers and representation that I probably would have never had if I wasn't. So on one hand, it's like great, but then once you're there, you realize, wow, people are just looking at me in this particular way, and I don't want to be cast for just those roles. I want to be cast across the board. So yeah, like I have a perfect example. I submitted for a role maybe like a month ago, and it was for, her name was Sarah, I think, and I never heard back from them. Then 3 weeks later, I get an email. Mind you, they had never had a reading from me, never auditioned for them, just from my picture. And they said, although you weren't right for the role of Sarah, we think you'd be perfect for the role of Conchita. And so, which, you know what, I don't mind playing Conchita, but I'd also like to play the Sarahs. So that's just one observation.
Very interesting. Good. Maricel. Maricel, tell me about you.
I knew that was coming. I'm from Puerto Rico, Boricua. I moved here in 1996.
Okay.
It's been a while. I came here to go to school at FIT, so I was a fashion girl for a while.
Okay.
I started acting in Puerto Rico when I was 16, and
Where? Where?
in Puerto Rico.
Where?
I was just doing like commercials for Telemundo. I was
Okay.
a pageant girl.
Okay.
I did not know this.
Oh
my
God! Isn't that did I just say that out loud?
Ironito.
Yes, well, it's Latin American sport. You know how that works.
Yes,
I didn't think of that.
Puerto
Okay.
Rico stops when it's the Miss Puerto Rico, but I was only Miss Puerto Rico teen. I never went to the adult pageant.
Well, I was
industry.
never a Miss Puerto Rico teen. So
That's okay.
you're
We
ahead of
have
me
that
there.
in
she's got a
common.
one-up on you.
Yeah, right. But yeah, it stuck in me, just the acting thing. And like she said, my parents wanted me to get an education and go to school. So I came here because I always loved New York. I never came here before, only by just movies and TV shows. I just knew that was the place that I wanted to be. And so I moved here and I started school, and I, by accident, just went to an agency and I needed some extra money to do some print work, and I started going to commercial auditions, started booking the commercials, and one thing led to another, and I just started getting roles, and I started taking classes at the American Academy of Dramatic Arts, and that's how I started acting. So after graduating, I never got a job, and I said to myself, I'm just going to continue acting, and that's what I've been doing since then.
Wow. And how did you find out about this project?
Oh my gosh, I think I sent a headshot like probably 4 years ago. And I just received a phone call from Mario. And I just knew it was, I sent my headshot a long time ago just
I'm not
because.
even looking at Mario because he knows what I'm thinking. I see him at his grandmother's house. Mira, abuelita, déjame ver su caja de... I'm going to call this one. Oh, yeah.
I knew,
All right, Ruben.
Wow.
honestly, I don't know what that headshot was laying for the last 3 years.
I want to see it right now.
I
The
just knew it
condition
was.
it's in.
And that's the end of the show. ladies.
I just knew it was that long ago because I just got in my headshots like 3 years ago, my new ones. And when I went to the audition, he said to me, "Oh, your new headshots look so much better." I'm like, "Oh, what do you have?"
And then you
Yeah,
hit
her
him.
first headshot didn't look anything like her. And I'm a stickler for that.
Because
Your
it's
picture
been
needs to
so
look
long.
like you.
Well, when you go through your grandmother's
it's 4
box
years
of headshots, what do you expect?
The funny thing is, when I saw her at the audition, I hadn't realized that she was
That was
also
her.
at the Subway commercial.
Yes,
Oh,
We met at
really?
the Subway
Get
commercial
out of
shoot.
here.
I
It was
know.
one of those small world things. What do you know?
Well, there you go.
And
I
it was-
guess it was meant to be.
it was really funny because I went to the audition and I saw him. I'm like, oh, because I had no idea. Maybe they were auditioning male actors. I'm like, oh, cool. And then he's like, oh, so you're ready? I'm like, oh, what do you mean? You're
You're the boss.
I'm the director. I'm like, oh, wow, cool. I'm like, so I got this. I'm just kidding.
Oh,
Wow.
She knew she had it in the bag.
And how do you feel about theater, in particular Latino theater
Latino theater.
in New York?
I've seen plays in Repertorio Español and Latea. I feel they're it's great. I mean, I tend to feel that I always see the same people,
That's why I look for new faces.
So I'm glad that Mario
And
took
old
the
boxes.
initiative to.
Honey, I'm mugging for the camera again. You're missing it all. Okay.
I always see the same faces, so it's nice that Latte is taking a chance on new faces and taking a chance on new actors, because there's a lot of us out there,
Yes.
and it's very talented people, and but in terms of the actual productions, what I've seen has been amazing. I just would like to see those same amazing productions with new faces. Yeah.
And you know what? I'd like to see some local talent at Telemundo and Univision too. You guys are doing all this stuff here, and we have a humongous wealth of Latino talent that's established, not established. We're here, and you're not using us. Stupid, 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 stupid.
It's not going to get him here.
But I'm going to get you for that.
He's gonna personally go.
That we should
So-
mention that we're like in costume.
Oh, yeah. This was not my choice of outfit right now.
I don't usually
This is
wear an
Gloria.
apron
This is Meche.
out on the streets.
You know,
This is Beatriz.
I had no problem with it. I wouldn't prejudge your dress.
I like
And-
that about you.
And you know, you're beautiful the way you are.
Thank
So
You didn't question your apron for a
let go of
second.
all that.
The apron it works.
It works.
You might want to consider it. Really.
It's practical. It has big pockets.
Yeah.
Mario, this is my show.
Sorry.
Honey, you're missing all these. It's too late. Yeah. No, it doesn't matter.